I'm going to try live streaming today's class, so just give me a second. I'm testing it out because yesterday I couldn't do it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirannasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripre Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Vinavane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Veshadharani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka number 68 of chapter.
What is the link, Mataji, YouTube, to check?
Prabhu, you can just go to the YouTube site. Okay, Atika Mataji, you ready?
Yes, Mataji.
Ya idam paramam guhyam.
Ya idam paramam guhyam.
Madbhaktveshvabhidhasyati.
Madbhaktveshvabhidhasyati.
Bhaktim mai param kritva.
Bhaktim mai param kritva.
Mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Ya idam paramam guhyam.
Ya idam paramam guhyam.
Madbhakteshvabhidhasyati.
Madbhakteshvabhidhasyati.
Bhaktim mai param kritva.
Bhaktim mai param kritva.
Mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Ya idam paramam guhyam.
Ya idam paramam guhyam.
Madbhakteshvabhidhasyati.
Madbhakteshvabhidhasyati.
Bhaktim mai param kritva.
Bhaktim mai param kritva.
Mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Forward meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yaha,
Yaha,
anyone who.
anyone who.
Idam,
This.
Paramam,
Paramam.
most.
Most.
Guhyam,
Guhyam.
confidential secret.
Confidential secret.
Mat, of mine.
Of mine.
Bhakteshu,
Bhakteshu.
amongst devotees.
Among devotees.
Abhidhasyati,
Abhidhasyati.
explains.
Explain.
Bhaktim,
Bhaktim.
devotional service.
Devotional service.
My, unto me.
Unto me.
Param,
Para,
transcendental,
transcendental,
kritva,
Kritva,
doing,
doing,
mam,
Mam,
unto me,
unto me,
eva,
Eva,
certainly,
certainly,
eshyati,
Ekshati,
comes,
comes,
asamshayaha,
Asamshayaha,
without doubt.
without doubt.
Translation: for one who explains the supreme secret
For one who explains the supreme secret
to the devotees,
to the devotees,
pure devotional service is guaranteed.
pure devotional service is guaranteed.
And at the end, he will come back to me.
And at the end, he will come back to me.
So, two contradictory instructions. In the 67th verse, the Lord says, don't reveal any of this knowledge to those who are envious of me, who are not performing bhakti, who are not engaged in devotional service. Here the Lord is saying, if you explain this secret to the devotees, then you yourself will be guaranteed pure devotional service. And in the end, Krishna is saying, you will come back to me. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and the Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Yesterday we were talking about why is the Lord prohibiting us from discussing this deepest of secrets to others who are non-believers, who may not have faith, because unintentionally we may cause them to become an offender to Krishna. So the Lord, even there, is doing his best to protect us. Here the Lord is saying, you explain this knowledge to my devotees because they are happy to hear it. And if you explain this knowledge to my devotees, then Krishna is saying, I will guarantee you pure devotion and that you will come back to me. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada writes a very short book. So from another parampara, Shri Krishna now declares the consequence of properly preaching the message of the Bhagavad Gita. He says such preachers first attain his parabhakti, which means pure devotional service, unadulterated, unfiltered, uninterrupted, and then they attain him. The opportunity to engage ourselves in devotion is a special blessing of God. But the opportunity to help others engage in devotion is an even bigger blessing, which attracts the special grace of God. So it's a very nicely put statement. If we ourselves are engaging in devotional service, the Lord has bestowed upon us his causeless mercy. He loves us so much. But if we help others also engage in devotional service by bringing them and connecting them to Krishna, that's an even bigger blessing. And that attracts the special mercy of the Lord. Whenever we share something good with others, we benefit from it too. When we share whatever knowledge we have with others, by grace, our own knowledge increases as well. So that is why preaching is an important component in our movement. Because when we begin to share this knowledge with others, we ourselves grow spiritually. By often giving food to others, we never go hungry ourselves. Saint Kabir said, Dana diye dana na ghate, nadi ghate na neera, apane hata deka lo, yon kya kahe Kabira. Wealth does not decrease by giving in charity. A river does not become narrow, though people take water from it. I'm not saying this without basis. See it yourself in the world. It's very nice, no? So where do we get our water from? From rivers that are then converted into dams. Has the water ever reduced? Yes, of course, today global warming has its own issues. When we give charity, does that mean our money has gone away? No, it is still growing. Thus, those who share the spiritual knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita with others receive the highest blessing themselves. Of course, here it is specifically talking about pure devotees. But neophyte preachers can also attract the grace of the Supreme. Now, in the next verse, Krishna is telling how this knowledge can be shared, but through proper channels. Krishna has used Parabhakti phrase once more in a very significant place in 18.54. Mat bhaktim labhate param. So when one gets Parabhakti, after one comes to Brahman platform, after one becomes completely equipoised with everything material, then one gets Parabhakti. But here in 1868, Krishna is telling, if you just share this message with everyone, then what will happen? We will get Parabhakti. Krishna is guaranteeing that. So from Krishna saying, be super perfect, you will get pure love for me. To hear Krishna saying, just share this knowledge with everyone, I will give you Parabhakti. Bhaktim mai param kritva. You will be performing pure devotional service to me. And at the end, mam evaishyatya samshayaha. Without any doubt, you will come back to me. So we will do supremely good to others. That is, we will be giving them knowledge of pure devotion. And at the end, we will be going to Krishna. So preaching is a part of our sadhana. By preaching, we will be purified. We will please Krishna. Not only Krishna, we will please Guru. We will please Krishna, and Krishna blesses us to advance in devotion. So we should not think, I am not advanced or knowledgeable enough. A devotee who has spent some years, knows so much, he can share. And by sharing our knowledge will also increase. So we shouldn't think, at least in our movement, the mood is not that you become really, a great student of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam for 20, 25, 30 years, and only then you start preaching. Preaching is also a journey. You start with small steps. You may preach in small groups. You can preach to your family. You can have classes at home, in your community. And slowly like this, you yourself will develop as a preacher. Mad bhaktvesh abhidhashyati. Speak it to my devotees. So idam is referring to the confidential knowledge. This should be spoken to my devotees. Devotees refer to upcoming devotees, those who are devotionally minded, which means they may not be practicing Krishna consciousness yet, but they may be inclined to doing bhakti. So we cannot speak about Krishna's love to entirely new people. They cannot comprehend it. People who don't know that God exists, we cannot tell them Krishna's personal feature and relationships. We need to go step by step. We need to explain them the existence of the soul and the super soul. Srila Prabhupada gives people experience through chanting of the holy name. But in his classes, he focuses on the basics. And for devotees, he gave them Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhupada's Krishna book, etc. We have to talk to people according to their level and then bring Krishna closer and closer. New people are also potent devotees, so it is a great service in furthering Krishna's message to them. Mad bhaktvesh abhidhasyati is basically not a restriction, but a precaution, according to the level of the people. But bhaktas, when they hear more about Krishna's personal form, their attraction towards Krishna will increase more and more. Srila Prabhupada was concerned that devotees not only do their sadhana, but preach to other people. Sharing wisdom effectively is not about convincing others that we are right. So, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has written this so nicely. If we are wise, we are not going to be interested about being right with others. So, sharing wisdom effectively is not about convincing others that we are right. It is about connecting them with the Lord in their heart who is right next to them and who is always right. If we think that it is we who are going to persuade others, then often their ego will come in the way. So we should not think we are so great, we have the ability to persuade somebody else to chant, or persuade somebody else to come to class, or persuade somebody to visit the temple. We can request. We have to also use a little bit of our intelligence on how to get them to the temple. But at the same time, we should remember we are not the doers. Krishna himself is orchestrating everything. But that doesn't mean we relax when we are preaching and say, okay, Krishna has sent me only 3 devotees, so I will work with that. No, we should be anxious to connect more Jivatmas to Krishna. So there is a fine balance between pushing ourselves and recognizing that we are not the ultimate doers. But if we focus on prayerfully trying to connect them with a source of wisdom that is within them, then when that answer comes from within their own hearts, when they connect with wisdom within themselves through their devotion, then it is not just that they will make that one decision right, but they will learn to get their decision-making process right. And that is an enduring asset. In one of the other commentaries, a very nice title Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has given. He says, teaching one person to practice Krishna consciousness may not change the world, but it will change their world. The person practicing Krishna consciousness, their entire world will change. So one person practicing Krishna consciousness may not change the entire world, but it will change the world of that person practicing Krishna consciousness. It means the whole lot for that person personally. So when we distribute what we have, we appreciate what we have. Suppose someone works with medicines day in and day out. Medicines lie all around them. Because of the prolonged familiarity and abundant availability vis-a-vis medicines, they may handle those medicines carelessly. But if they go to an epidemic-afflicted area and give medicines to the sick, they see for themselves those medicines' life-saving potency. That first-hand experience inspires them to take better care of those medicines. Spiritual knowledge given in the Bhagavad Gita is a life-saving medicine. It cures us of the misdirected desires that make us waste our life in petty or even perverse pleasures. When we gain spiritual knowledge and start applying it, we soon experience its transformational potency in educating and elevating our desires. However, once we start practicing spiritual life regularly, the transformation becomes increasingly inner and subtler. Externally, spiritual knowledge may start seeming like the same old stuff we have heard so many times. Familiarity breeds neglect. Pertinently, the Bhagavad Gita exhorts us to share its knowledge. When we start sharing, treating it as integral to our spiritual discipline, we see for ourselves that knowledge transformational potency. People who are squandering their lives in bad habits or frivolous pursuits become better human beings. Spiritual knowledge empowers them to break free from habits that they had been struggling to give up for years, even decades. Habits that many can't give up even after a lifetime of struggle. Not only that, their overall life becomes more meaningful and purposeful. By applying the spiritual knowledge of Bhakti Yoga, they connect with all pure Krishna, thereby manifesting their best and making constructive contributions. So you can see that spirituality has changed our life. So we have experienced it ourselves. We have proof that practicing Krishna consciousness works. It doesn't mean we have become perfect, but certainly we are better than what we used to be yesterday. And that is that same gift and opportunity we want to give to others. So it is the most selfless act is to preach. Because you're worried that others are suffering, they should get the same benefit that I got by practicing Krishna consciousness. So that anxiety is there, that you want to bring more and more and more souls and help them connect to Krishna. That is the mood with which we are all doing our seva. At least that's the mood with which we should be doing seva. We should have that anxiety. You know, I have benefited from this wonderful process of performing bhakti yoga, devotional service, and I want everybody to have that same opportunity. By seeing spiritual knowledge's transformational potency, we appreciate it better and start applying it more seriously. Thereby, we start relishing again its potency in raising our consciousness towards higher levels of realization, purification, and satisfaction. So, in this particular verse, Krishna is saying, to my devotees, which means it includes anybody who even has an inclination to perform bhakti. It includes anybody who is interested in just learning what is the Bhagavad Gita all about, what is the Lord saying. So Krishna is saying for those who preach, this pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. So that is the very essence of this particular shloka. So we'll recite now. Ya idam paramam guhyam
Idam paramam guhyam
madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam evaishyatya samshayah idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param mam evaishyatya samshayah ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam evaishyatya samshayah. Dr. Shivarao Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. Yaidam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidasyati bhaktim mayi parang krutva mame vaishyatya samshayah.
Okay, very nice. Harish Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yaidam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mahi param kritva mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Okay, good. Ramesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yaidam paramam guhyam madbhakte swabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mame vaishyata samshayah.
Good. Ravi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yaitam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Okay, very nice. Damodaran Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mayi param kritva mame vaishyatya samshayah.
Good. Vaibhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yaidam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mayi param kritva mame vaishyatya sanshayah.
Okay, very nice. Mataji, Gita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yaidam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyasi bhaktim mayim param kritva mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Okay, good. Sharda Mataji. Okay, Ranjini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. You can
Yaidam
say
paramam guhyam madbhakteshva abhidasyati bhaktim mayi param krutva mame vaishyashi asamsayaha.
okay. Ranjini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yaidam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidasyati bhaktim mayi param kritva mame vaishyatya samshayah. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Very good. Thank you. Latika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Ya itam paramam guhyam matpatteshu vidasyati bhaktim mayi param kritva mam evaishyatya samshayah.
Okay, good. Meena Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakte swabidasyati bhaktim mayi param krutva mam evaisvati asamshayah.
Okay, good. We'll recite it once more. Ya idam paramam guhyam
Yaidam
Paramam guhyam
madbhakteshvabhidhasyati
madbhakteshva vidasyati
bhaktim mayi param kritva
bhaktim
bhakti
mayika
mayi
param
param
kritva
kritva
mam evaishyatya samshayah.
mame vaishyatya samsayaha.
Okay, thank you, devotees. Are there any questions on the shloka? No questions? Okay, there are no questions, and we can conclude our session.
Hare Krishna Mataji, there's one question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yesterday it was Krishna's telling to tell only to those who are my devotees, but not those who are not having tapasya, not having bhakti, not having devotional service and all. It was understood that as ISKCON we are ISKCON by principle we are overcoming that advice of Krishna. That means we are not following his advice strictly. And in this sloka it says, tell to my devotees. Actually, his devotees, most of the things they are already in devotion. So only by telling to devotees, so practical how it works from Mataji.
How do we know who's a devotee and who's not a devotee? We are not in a position to estimate who's a devotee and who's not a devotee. But in this particular shloka, the Lord is saying, he's repeating one of the Chatur shlokas actually, right? But in a different way. And he's giving the results of it. He in the Chatur shloka, what does the Lord say? Ananyas chintayanto mam, right? He says that
No,
my
Mataji.
are always talking about me. Their focus is me. And in this way, they experience transcendental pleasure. So even among devotees, we are still on a journey. We have a lot to learn. We have more purification that needs to happen. So even among devotee communities, otherwise we would not have Bhagavatam program every day, Bhagavad Gita program every day. We would not have these sannyasis coming and giving pravachan. Why? Because we need to engage in Harikatha. Because that Harikatha is purifying. So anything that is purifying, why do we want to stop that? There's no need to stop it. So, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, the Lord says. So Satatam means always. We are always speaking about him. Prabhupada says, Shravanam means hearing, preaching means Kirtanam. So preaching has to happen all the time. One person will preach and there will always be somebody there to hear or listen. In the previous shloka, the Lord says, do not reveal this confidential knowledge to those who are envious of me, to those who do not have faith, to those who are not performing even a little bit of bhakti. don't reveal this to them. But yes, ISKCON doesn't necessarily strictly adhere to that particular instruction of Krishna, because a devotee is paradukha dukhi. We don't like it when we see others are suffering. When others are suffering, we want to somehow or the other connect them to Krishna. So Krishna has some standards he has set to come back to him. But a devotee genuinely thinks anybody can go back to Krishna just by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Right? That is why a devotee is called paradukha dukhi. We don't like seeing others suffer, and we want to help them. At that time, we don't care. Are they believers? Do they have faith? Will they accept Krishna? We don't care for that. We just hope that Krishna will somehow benedict them with his causeless mercy. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Mother. Thank you, Mother.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Once again, identifying the devotees, just like they are practicing Krishna consciousness, that is the base, or else randomly going, like for example, those who are attending classes can go to the extent of preaching. What is the basis, Mataji, for today's sloka?
I just said we don't know who's a devotee, who's not a devotee.
Yes.
We don't know who's a potential devotee. So our assumption is that everybody is a devotee of the Lord already. It's just that they have forgotten it. And we are trying to remind them that they are devotees. So that is the mood.
They will connect according to their...
Yes, we will connect according to their desire. So some devotees will come through the process of offering seva. Some devotees will come through the process of honoring prasadam. Some devotees will come because they are attracted to the philosophy. Some devotees come because they are attracted to how beautifully the deities are dressed. So devotees will come in different ways. So we have to just tap into that resource. And do we have the intelligence? No, but Krishna will give us the intelligence to figure out who to reach out to. And our assumption is that anybody who comes to the temple is a potential devotee. Anybody who comes for seva is a potential devotee. Anybody who has honored prasadam is already a devotee. So we operate with that assumption. Because Krishna is compassionate and loving, therefore the devotees are also compassionate and loving. The rest is between them and Krishna, how quickly they progress. Do they come regularly to class? Do they not? It also requires genuine love and affection and care from the devotee's side to bring everybody to class, to invite them for seva. So an expert devotee, a devotee who's been doing this for many more years, is better at it than a brand new devotee. But at the same time, we have to learn how to do this. Because, as Krishna says, when we take this knowledge to others, it purifies us because he is helping us personally. So then we should all be anxious to preach. Yes, in our own small way, we should be anxious to preach. What is the best way to preach? Share the posters that we have, share the Zoom links that we have with others and talk to them, encourage them to come and attend. Maybe once a week, maybe they will not be able to do it every day. But at least every Sunday, maybe you can attract them to come for our sessions, online sessions, or in the temple, the sessions in the temple. So each one of us has to have that anxiety. At least one person I want to bring to Krishna consciousness. Then our life is successful.
Yes,
Prabhupada said very humbly, if even one of my devotees becomes a pure devotee and goes back to Krishna, then my life is successful. So much humility Prabhupada had. And he had how many disciples? 5,000 disciples. So our anxiety is, let me connect at least one person to Krishna. If I can do that very nicely and take care of their spiritual well-being very nicely, then maybe Guru will be pleased with me and maybe Krishna will be pleased with me. So,
Hare Krishna. In continuation of that, what is the ideal way of connecting? In the sense, like making them to get more sevas or chanting the holy name, both initially.
initially, we have to get them attached to chanting the holy names, because the holy name is so powerful. It's non-different than Krishna. Nam Akari Bahuda. You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying there are millions and trillions of names of the Lord, but each one of them is invested with the potency of the Lord. Nijasarva Shaktihi. It has the potency to purify that person. But to get them to chant, you have to win their trust, to bring them to the temple or whatever it is, right? So we'll use different means, but the most important thing is to get them connected to chanting. Philosophy will come later. But different people will come with different taste buds. Some people are attracted to certain things, other people are attracted to other things. So we have to figure out what is a person attracted to and accordingly guide them into Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very nice inputs into the
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Gurudev ki jai. Shri ki jai.
Jai.
Krishna devotees, have a very blessed day. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanas
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी राम लल्ला की जन्म की बधाई माता जी
Today is the anniversary of the installation. Lord Ram. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Mataji, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.